So I had an antifreeze leak in this is a 96 Ford Ranger, and the leak when it started, there were no spots underneath the vehicle. You could smell it, and I could even smell it in the cabin. So I thought heater core, and I could still have a problem with the heater core, but I just could not find this thing. And I know to look for these little spots like this where the antifreeze turns white, but that stuff's everywhere because the fan blows it. But it eventually started leaking, and I found the spot under. So I just wanted to make this video because it could be a culprit for you. This is the heater control valve, and so your hot water comes in, goes into the you set the temperature on the inside, opens and closes this heater control valve, and then lets hot water into the heater core, which goes in right there. It was actually leaking on the bottom side of this heater control valve, and I never found it. And I went to the Ford dealership because that one right there is original equipment, so it's 20-some years old. And I was thinking, hey, let's put the original stuff back in there because that one lasted a long time, but they didn't have one. And so I went to Advance Auto and bought this one. It's a CarQuest, I guess. It's exactly the same, although I have to tell you that the plastic seems a little cheap. It's guaranteed for a year, but I'm going to put it on and see what happens because I want to fix the leak. But things to look for, if you can see that down there, that is dried antifreeze, and it seems to always turn white, so look for things like that. That wasn't on there before yesterday because I think it was just blowing everywhere, or maybe the leak wasn't as great. But at any rate, this could be your culprit if you can't find the leak. The heater control valve. Here are the two parts side by side. This is the original, I guess, Ford part, and the CarQuest part. They're pretty much identical. There. And I was saying that the CarQuest maybe, I guess, right here, this one has two screws and that one does not. So ultimately, I think that's the only difference I see. Other than that, they're the same. The fitment's the same anyway. Just in case you get your hoses mixed up, the way this thing flows is there's an arrow on the bottom of the heater control valve. And think of that as the water coming in. So if you flip this over, like it's going to be installed, basically you got your hot water coming up near the water pump and the thermostat. So think of that top hose, and that's going to go into the input right here. It goes in here, and then the heater control valve, which is this part, we either open or close it. And if it opens it, it goes into the heater core on the left hose, and then comes back out on I'm doing this with one hand, back into this hose, and then back through toward the radiator on the bottom hose right there. So it comes in here, goes in there, comes out, goes back out that way. So, well, I guess I'm not going to finish that up, but basically there are your hoses.